You are listening to the Berry Thoughtful Life Coaching Podcast with relationship life coach Kanisha Berry. You will be empowered, uplifted, and encouraged. Now, here's your host, Kanisha.
Hello, Berry Thoughtfuls. So as we continue on this series of love, marriage, and relationships, today I want to talk to the single women. My thought today is 3 mistakes women make when we are dating. So I've been married for 24 years, but I had to date first, right? One of the things I noticed in my young life, of course, I got married in my 20s, amongst my friends, and now I hear it sometimes with my clients, and just in the realm of being around women, and particularly single women wanting to be married. We tend to think that every guy is a possibility for marriage. You meet a guy and you think, oh, maybe he's the one. I want you to kind of move out of that mindset, out of that mind frame of thinking that every guy, every potential new guy that you meet could possibly be your one. And I think about it in terms of the Olympics, right? Instead of thinking about, could he possibly be my husband? And you enter into the date thinking that you're trying to maybe impress him and see if he's husband quality. I need you to see if he qualifies. In order to go into the Olympics, every athlete does not qualify. They have to go through several obstacles before they can get to the place of even qualifying. And then in the last part of trials and after they've made it to a certain point, then they are still being tested to see if they qualify and can be considered an American as a person who represents America in the Olympics. And I want you to start thinking like that. Like, set your standards and be clear about your standards. But just see, does he even qualify enough to be someone that you find cool enough to hang around? Does he qualify as a quote-unquote good man? Like, do you have an idea or standard of what that will look like? What will make him a good man? And here's the thing, not a good man for you, but just a good person. Like, that should be a qualifier. Is he a good person? And how are you going to know this, right? What signs are you going to look for to know if he's a good person as you're dating him? What do you need to be aware of to just even see if he qualifies to even be in your life, to just be your friend, to pick you up for a date, to be around your family or your friends? What are you looking for? Be intentional about that. The second thing I think women do, the second mistake I think women make when they're dating, is we tend to pay attention to how the guy makes us feel. And I think that's very dangerous because a lot of men are very manipulative. And, sorry guys, if you're listening, maybe you don't mean to be, but it's almost like men are taught to play the game. Like, men are taught to, you hear people say men are hunters and they go after the chase. And so when you're hunting for something, if you will do whatever you can to catch it, right? So are you paying too much attention to the way he makes you feel? The little things that he's doing to appease you. Like, I remember years ago, I was dating Andre, and I met this guy, like, not met in any sense of getting to know, but like, as I was going into a restaurant, he called himself coming over to talk to me, and he says, I could be whatever kind of man you want. And I thought, he was like, I can become whatever kind of man you want. And I thought, that is horrible. Like, what type of person are you that you're willing to shift and change and be a chameleon to so-called be what you think I want? That's manipulative. And so then what's going to happen when the real you show up? If you become everything you think I want you to be, then who is the real you? And so that's what I want you to start paying attention to. Who are the people that you're dating? Who are these men? What are they like? Are they kind? And this is a great way to discover if a man is kind. Don't pay attention to the way he treats you on a date. Pay attention to the way he treats other people, right? Because he may be trying to impress you, but he's not trying to impress the waiter. So how is he talking to the waiter or the waitress? When you enter into a door, if there's another person behind you, a woman, does he hold the door open for her? Like, is there a kindness in him where he's just generous, a generous person, not just generous to you, but just a nice person altogether. So when I was dating, I used to always pay attention to the way men treated the people around us. Like if he was nasty to the waiter, I immediately thought, you have that in you, and eventually you will be nasty to me. I would listen to the way he talked about women in his life, not just his mother, maybe his sister, maybe other women he dated. Particularly if it was a man who liked to call women the B word or call a woman out of her name in any kind of way. I would just notice whether it's his sister or his friend, because here's the thing. The treatment you see will eventually be the treatment you experience. And so that's what I mean when I say, instead of paying attention to how this man is making you feel, pay attention to who he is. Is he generous? Like, does he leave a generous tip? Does he speak to other people with kindness? If someone drops something, is he the person who's going to pick it up? Pay attention to, again, the way he treats other people when he's with you, because he may be trying to impress you, but he's not trying to impress them. And so that is going to show you his real character instead of the ooh la la, the lights in your eyes that you may see, and him impressing you, and you thinking, oh, this guy is so cool, he's so sweet, he knows me, he's paying attention to me, he's listening to me. See if he does that to other people. That is a sure sign of you getting to know his character and not just getting lost in the feelings and the emotions that he's invoking in you, because that can be a great way for you to end up later feeling disappointed and feeling like, who is this guy? I thought he was one way, he's another way, because you didn't pay attention to his character. You was paying attention to how he's making you feel. The third mistake I think women make is they don't believe what the guy's telling them. Maya Angelou says, believe what a person tells you the first time, right? I've noticed in conversations with strangers or people I know, we always tell people the truth about who we are immediately, instantly. But people will downplay what we tell them. Well, oh, you're being too harsh on yourself, right? But if a man tells you right from the beginning, first date or hanging out, and he says something like, I don't ever want to be married, don't let that pass, right? And that's not to say he can't change his mind, but pay attention to when he says that. Or like the guy I met, if he says, I can become whatever a woman wants me to be, why wouldn't I pay that attention? Why wouldn't I think, well, that's not flattering. That's a problem, because who are you? Do you not know who you are? Why would you condition yourself to who you think someone wants you to be? That to me is a level of dishonesty. I remember also having a friend who went on a date with a gentleman, and the first thing he told her, he was like, that I'm an a-hole when it comes to dating. He said that to her. But then at the date or during the dinner, he did things like, got the waiter's attention for her, paid for her meal, and he seemingly was kind in that moment to her. But then weeks later, as they're dating, and he starts treating her nasty, and after sleeping with her, his whole personality changed. She's like, well, he changed. I said, no, he didn't change. He told you from the beginning that he was an a-hole. You didn't believe him because his actions, immediately after telling you who he was, presented something differently. But he told her. And if you pay attention and listen to people's conversations, they will tell you who they are. So like one of the things I often say is, I'll say I'm not a kind person. Right? I know how to be nice, but I'm just not, like, kindness don't overflow in me. It's one of those spiritual gifts when I read in the Bible that the fruit of a spirit is kindness. I'm like, ooh, I have to pray for that. And what I mean, I'm generous. I can be intentional about being caring. I'm not overly like mean or nasty or anything, but I have a friend who is an extremely kind woman. Like she pays attention. She sees what other people need. It's just in her to notice things with kindness. I would be completely oblivious of something. Not because maybe, some might say, well, that makes you a rude person. Perhaps. What I'm simply saying is that I'm an encourager. I know that about myself. But I don't immediately run to the rescue when I see something. That's what I mean when I say I'm not kind. I'm not nasty. I'm not rude. I don't talk nasty to people. But what I know about myself is I'm honest. Right? So when someone says, oh, if I say to you, I don't think of myself as a kind person, don't be surprised when I come across as a little bit like cold or aloof, because I've told you, it's not me being proud or not being kind, but that's my honesty. I'm honest enough to say I can be a little aloof. I can pull back. I can be a little reserved. I don't always, do the immediate kindness thing when I see something, because it's just kind of not my personality. And so people are always telling us who they are. Your job is to believe them. And particularly ladies, when you're dating, stop seeing what you want to see. Stop hearing what you want to hear, and listen closely and pay attention to what is actually being said. And I promise you, if you begin to do these little things, pay attention to his character, not pay attention to the way he makes you feel. Make sure that every dude you meet, know that everybody doesn't qualify. Everyone is not worthy of you. And that's okay. It's okay for you to have standards. And then lastly, really, again, give attention to what a man tells you along with what he's doing. Not just what he's doing or not just what he says. It's both together. As you're dating, if you begin to do that, I believe you will have a better chance at choosing men who are good men who qualify for maybe that marriage status or qualify for just to be in your life. I was even picky like that about my friends. If a man was going to be my so-called friend, I really expected a lot of a man friend. I expected him to be there for me, to look out for me, to, like, if I needed help, to be there to help me. And if he couldn't do that, I thought, what is the point? What is the point of this so-called friendship with someone of the opposite sex if he can't, like, be your big brother, protect you, in some ways provide? Like, if I'm hungry and you have money, feed me, not because I'm trying to use you, but be that kind of a man. Be kind enough that you see a woman who needs help and you help her. Right? These are the little signals that I was looking for. And I believe this was the kind of thing that helped me find Andre, the kind of man that I did marry. He's not a perfect man. By no means he's not perfect, but he is a kind man. So I hope this helps you as you're dating, and I hope you begin to pay attention to those little things. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for taking time to listen. Do me a favor, share this out with a friend if you found any benefits from this. And also go to my website, verythoughtfullife.com, and let me know if these podcasts are helping at all. Again, thanks for listening. You can also get my free ebook, Miracle Mindset. Talk to you soon.